Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Julie Chrisley receives shocking probation change. Chrisley knows best. Julie Chrisley has received a shocking probation change. She had a resentencing trial in September 2024, but that left her and her family heartbroken. So what happened with probation? Keep reading for all of the details and fan reactions. Julie Chrisley receives shocking probation change. Julie Chrisley's family was very optimistic when her resentencing approached. They were hopeful that she could get lucky and even be released within the year. Sadly, that was not the outcome, so they had to keep their heads held high and look toward what they could do next. She and her husband, Todd Chrisley, were sentenced to a collective 19 years behind bars for tax evasion, fraud, and conspiracy. They entered two separate prisons in January 2023 with Todd in Florida, while Julie is serving time in Kentucky. Julie is going to keep fighting, and her family still will keep praying that she and Todd come home sooner rather than later. Their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, has been very open about prison life and the trial. She talks about the abuse her parents have endured, especially on her father's end. Furthermore, she guides fans and followers through all the steps of how her parents communicate, even if they are limited. Now she is opening up about her mother's shocking probation change. In a twist, it was extended by 2 years. According to Monsters and Critics, Savannah shared her heartbreak over this news on her Unlocked podcast. It's not over for Savannah, as the family is determined to appeal the ruling. They are not stopping until they believe justice has been served. Savannah was struggling to understand it all. She went on to add, "Immediately, fans and followers of Savannah's were blown away by the news of Julie Chrisley's extended probation. They chimed in with their thoughts, and they agreed with her daughter. Make it make sense." Fans spoke out in favor of Julie Chrisley after Savannah Chrisley shared her heartbreak over the shocking probation situation. They failed to understand why this was happening and felt this was the incorrect punishment. Hopefully, Savannah will take solace in all of the support she has been receiving and see that many do not agree with this drastic change. As one person said, they may not agree with the crime, but this extension of 2 years at a scratched wooden table in the corner of the Lexington, Kentucky, prison's modest law library, her fingers absently tracing the edge of a paperback Bible. The air smelled faintly of bleach and worn paper. It had been nearly 2 years since she walked into this facility, accused and convicted, her freedom stripped and her life flipped upside down. She had long accepted her sentence. Faith was her lifeline. Every morning started with a prayer and a scripture reading, followed by a phone call to Savannah or a letter to Todd. But nothing, absolutely nothing, could have prepared her for what came on that cloudy July afternoon. Chrisley, Julie. A correctional officer called, standing stiff at the doorway with a yellow envelope in hand. Julie's stomach turned. Letters came often, mostly from fans, a few from distant relatives, and many from her daughter, Savannah. But an envelope delivered like this, through an officer, hand-delivered, meant something else entirely. "Yes, ma'am," Julie said, rising slowly. The officer handed her the envelope. "From your attorney. They asked to make sure you opened it immediately." Julie blinked, frowning. She sat back down and peeled it open carefully. Her eyes scanned the first lines, and her breath hitched. "R.E. Modification of probation conditions upon early release review." She read it again. Her hands trembled. It was real. According to her attorney, a surprise ruling had come down from the appellate court reviewing her case. Though her convictions still stood for now, a federal oversight committee had flagged procedural issues with her sentencing. Because of this, the probation office had quietly reviewed her post-release plan and altered it dramatically. Julie would still serve her time, but once released, She would no longer be confined to traditional home confinement or monitored via ankle bracelet as originally planned. Instead, she would be part of a restorative justice community integration program, a rare form of post-prison probation. It was the first time this program was being tested on a high-profile inmate, making Julie both the subject and symbol of potential reform. The conditions were shocking. She would live in a transitional halfway home for just 30 days, not the originally proposed 18 months. Afterward, she would work full-time with faith-based nonprofit programs, helping women re-entering society after incarceration. No more weekly check-ins with an officer. Instead, she'd be required to attend monthly accountability sessions led by mentors, many of them former inmates themselves. Her travel restrictions would be eased after 6 months, provided she completed community service hours and led a public awareness campaign about prison reform and faith-based recovery. Julie's eyes brimmed with tears. Not from relief, though there was some of that, but from the weight of being entrusted with something so unexpected. After all the pain, after the humiliation, she wasn't just being released. She was being asked to lead. Later that evening, the prison buzzed with murmurs. The news had leaked, first among the guards, then the inmates. Julie Chrisley, the Southern matriarch once known for her glam and sass, was going to be part of something revolutionary. That night in her cell, she clutched her journal and wrote feverishly, July 9th, they're letting me lead. Lord, I don't know why you picked me for this, but I won't let you down. I thought I was forgotten, dismissed by the world. But maybe you were writing a bigger story the whole time. One about second chances. Back in Nashville, Savannah Chrisley was just finishing a podcast recording when her phone lit up with a text from their family lawyer. Call me immediately. News on your mom's probation. Her heart raced. She called, hands shaking. By the time she hung up, Savannah was speechless. They're giving her what? She whispered to herself, pacing in circles. She dropped into a chair, stunned. After months of tears, petitions, and endless interviews to raise awareness about the unfairness of her parents' case, something had shifted. The next day, Savannah went live on Instagram. I don't even know how to process this, she said, her voice trembling. My mom's probation plan has changed. Not only is she getting an early step down from home confinement, but she's also going to be part of a program helping other women get back on their feet. This is more than a win for her. It's a win for justice. Supporters flooded the comments. God is working. Julie is going to change lives. This is the redemption arc we prayed for. Todd, still serving his sentence in Pensacola, Florida, was informed later that week. In a monitored call with Savannah, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, voice cracking, tell her I'm proud. Tell her she was always the strongest one.